Welcome, folks, to a closet review of Augment OS. I wanted to put out this video as the last video I've made. It was probably about like a month or two ago, and I've had some people reach out and say, hey, where's the review and whatnot. I'm going to explain why it took a bit for me to record a review and why I'm not wearing the ones you've seen in the last video, and kind of go from there. I'll put in the description, or at least try to put in the description of when I put the when I actually start the review of the software and show you some of the stuff through the lens. For now, I want to give my disclosure and kind of some reasoning on why I took so long to post a review of Augment OS. The review took a bit because, one, I felt that Augment OS wasn't ready to be reviewed. I felt it wasn't ready for a day-to-day use case. I felt that the software was very buggy, unreliable, and at the time when I recorded that, we needed to download 2 apps to make it even run. And when I started to use it and tried to get behind it, the team announced, like, hey, we're going to eventually transition to 1 app and polish up the experience. So I felt it was better to just wait. Another reason why it took a bit is because I have 2 dogs. I have an Australian Shepherd and a Corgi. Those 2 got into a little argument, a little fight, which caused a whole puncture wound in my Corgi's neck, and I couldn't afford the vet bill, so I had to pawn off or sell some items, which included my Pip-Boy, a TV that I received from my parents from Christmas, and then the smart glasses that I received in the mail. So that obviously delayed the review to be ever recorded or published. So that's another reason. So what am I doing here with these glasses, the Even Reality G1s? Well, Caden, part of the Metro team, reached out and asked about some feedback for the software. I informed of the situation, and he and his team graciously offered to send me a pair of Even One Reality glasses so they can get feedback of the operating system. So I did get these for free. This was sent to me by the Metro team, but I am not paid or anything to make this review. All my opinions are my own, and that definitely reflects with my weekly feedback forms that I've been putting in the Discord chat for the Metro team to look at and to evaluate the software and maybe try to point them in a direction where I feel the operating system should go, or at least I feel that the community would like for the operating system to be at. Let's get started. Augment OS right now is far more usable than it was when I first started. When I first started, like I said, you need 2 apps, and you had to download each of those apps that the Augment OS App Store offered separately, and it felt very clunky and did not feel as seamless as it was initially pitched. Now I can say that it's not that case. You literally open up the app, go to the tab of the App Store, and you tap on the app that you want to download. Since these are lightweight apps, it doesn't even take that long, and to activate them you just tap on the app and it'll show up in the Active App tab. I am right now currently running the Notify app and the Mira Assistant app. Let me break this up into kind of 2 parts with my experience with the original glasses I had, and then the ones I have here. With the Metro Mach 1s or the Vuzix Z100s, the software felt very, at first, buggy and unreliable. It had issues with disconnect and reconnecting if I had the glasses off for like a day because I wanted to break or something like that. But next day I would put it on, it would just boot loop. And I don't know if that's the hardware or the software side of things, because I haven't had that issue really with these glasses. I will get into that later, but I'm specifically talking with the Metromach 1s, Vuzix Z100s. Because of these boot looping issues, I often had to refactory reset them on a daily basis, hence why I kind of delayed the review. When I recently got my hands on another pair of those, because of some logistics side of things when the team was trying to send this to me, I ended up receiving another pair that I gave to my twin brother for his input on Augment OS on the iOS side of things. Because I am Team Android and I will never use an Apple device. Anyways, when I did get the newer pair, I tried it out with the newest version of Augment OS, and it worked a lot better. It wasn't perfect. I feel that the experience is very solid on there as right now, but it definitely could be used to be more polished up. Part of that's hardware limitations. With only being one display, they can only do so much. One of my big complaints with the Vuzix Z100 / Metromach 1s was the brightness. I felt that the brightness situation was really annoying. You had to manually adjust it, and that's hardware limitation. I do suggest that the team maybe try to see if there's a way to use the phone ambient light sensor to send data to the smart glasses to try to adjust the brightness auto that way to try to get around it. If that can't happen, it's totally understandable, because it is a hardware limitation, unlike the Even Realities where they have an ambient light sensor right underneath one of these. So I totally get why the brightness was an issue for me. Some of the bugs I faced when using the Augment OS was some of the displays on the on the always-on status bar, which they mentioned is a beta feature in the app. So I totally get why there was. On the Metromach 1s, I did have an issue where it just randomly displayed what I would assume is coding language, or was just a bunch of random stuff to me. And so I had to turn it off, factory reset it, and then it worked. So there was that. Notifications showed up pretty on time. The live transcription service on that worked really well. Granted, because of hardware limitations, the microphone it uses is your phone on the Metromach 1 / Vuzix Z100s rather than on device, because there's no microphones. The Vuzix Z100 / Metromach 1s only have that display. There's no camera, there's no microphone, there's no ambient light sensor, just a touch sensor and a physical power button. That's all you get with that. I don't care for the camera. I don't care. Ambient light sensor, I think, is a must with smart glasses, as the Even Reality G1s have proved to me its importance. I think having that really helps with just making it feel more natural. One of my complaints with kind of the experience of using the Metromach 1 / Vuzix Z100s was when I would be driving and I get a notification. Because I didn't think about it before I started driving, I didn't turn down the brightness. So that my eye got blasted with green light and kind of made it a bit distracting. So when I was using those glasses, I had to switch to my normie glasses so that I didn't get super distracted and put myself at risk. Because of that, when using these, I've had no issues with that. Because of the ambient light sensor and whatnot, I can use these while driving and I'm not distracted. In fact, the way how the displays are set up, the information's kind of above your eyes a little bit, so it's not in the middle, like the Metromach 1s or Vuzix Z100s. I think the Augment OS team should allow the adjustments like the Even Reality side of things with the OS, or at least how Even Reality is approached with the adjustments of the display, whether it be distance or height. I think being able to allow users to do that on the Augment OS side would really help, even with these, because there's the only control that I see with that in Augment OS is the degree of when you tilt your head up to get your dashboard. There's no way to adjust the distance of where that display is simulating and the height. It seems to be fixed, and I would love to see the Augment OS people fish that in there for both of those classes. I think it'd go a long way. It'd make it more accessible, more customizable, more personable, more unique experience for each user. As I'd like to have mine a little bit further away, so it's a little smaller, but feel more augmented, I should say. Well, let me go now start talking about the Even One Reality experience with Augment OS. If you are looking for a very polished, very natural feeling experience, these are the ways to go. Now that sucks for the folks that are like me who are not financially there to be able to spend the $600 or $800, depending if you have this prescription or not, to get these glasses, which is very unfortunate. That's a bit unfortunate, because if you really want a polished experience and something that feels really natural and more intuitive, I guess would be the word, these would be the way to go. Having the displays in both eyes feels really nice, but there is some bugs with that as well. Touch bar being back here really sucks. Augment OS needs to add a sensitivity thing to try to up that sensitivity. If they can on the software side, I feel like they can. If they can't, I would love for the team to put a explanation, or at least put something on there to kind of combat the complaints that people may have with the tap gesture not working on these. Like I said, it's very weak in sensitivity, and I'm often slapping my own head just to get some information to discard. Speaking of notifications, the notifications tend to stick a little longer than I'd like, and I've kind of mentioned that in my feedback forms that you'll find in the Discord that the Augment OS team has. Some of my complaints would be timing notifications. Sometimes they're a little longer than I like them. There's no individual app adjustments to which notifications appear, so whatever you get on your phone, bam, it's in your eyes. Team, let me preface this, the team has state that they're doing like a big 2.0 or 2 point something update later this month in June. That's going to fix a lot of bugs and add a couple features. So all of this is subject to change, but I'm going to tell you right now what the experience you will get right now before that update. Let me try to show you some of the stuff on Augment OS, I suppose, through the lenses of these glasses, and try to give you an idea, because I've known that there's some curiosity on how that's all done. So let me get that situated for you guys. So when you tilt your head up, you're going to get the dashboard. I'm sorry, this is probably the best you're going to get with image quality. So you'll see that I have a notification, date and time, battery, and then a calendar event in the corner. This is what you're going to mainly see pretty much throughout your whole experience with Augment OS. Alright, so that's what it looks like for the most part. Notifications pop in when you're using the Notify app. When you get notifications, you're not going to get that dashboard. That's only when you tilt your head up when you're using these glasses. When you're using the Metromach 1/Vuzix Z100s, you turn them on and you'll get that dashboard. Using the Notify app, you'll just get the app name, who's sending you the message, and then if the app can display that message, display that message. For like Snapchat, it'll just say Snapchat, the username, sent a message, is typing, whatnot. For text messages, it'd be messages, who's sending the messages, or the group chat name, and then the message. There's no easy way to dismiss the notifications, because one, the tapping is weak, but also there's no indications that the OS is recognizing your taps. I've referenced this to the team in my feedback reports, that there needs to be some touch indicator, because the standard operating systems that's on the Vuzix Z100/Metromach 1s gives you a little circle that expands to let you know that it's registering your touches. We have not that. We don't have any of that on Augment OS. The live subtitles works great. When you're using these, it will use the onboard microphones. I've had no issues with it. it does have some issues picking up people from a further distance, but if it's in the same room, like let's say someone's right here and I'm talking to them, I will see whatever they're saying in subtitles or captions, whatever you want to call it. For the Metro Mach 1 Z100s, if your phone's in your pocket, it's going to have a little bit of a hard time, but if you have your phone in the middle of like a table and you're in a group setting, it's going to pick it up really well. This also works with YouTube. When you're watching YouTube, you don't have to have the captions on because you can have the glasses display them because it's using either the onboard microphone on the phone or your glasses. For Metro Merge, that app is pretty neat because it takes whatever your conversation you're having and tries to take snippets of that conversation and give you some facts to make you more knowledgeable for it, which is really nice. I've had it. I've went in bigger detail on how I tried to use it in my feedback forums, which I heavily urge you guys to take a look at in the Discord because you're going to get a lot more information and better feedback on my experience with Augment OS and others as well. So is Augment OS perfect? No. Is it a step forward? I think so. I think it is a great stepping stone to allow people to get into smart glasses and make applications that mainstream companies are not going to throw onto their smart glasses. Augment OS has tried to pick up some of that slack. And because they're a smaller team, whatever feedback you have, you most likely will probably see that in a future update or later on. And since it's open source and anybody can make an app, give it time or pay someone the right money, and you'll get your app and feature that you want. Augment OS and the team with Metra, they're looking to make sure that software is what you want it to be. What would I like to see in Augment OS is a bit more of a polished experience for those that can only afford the Metro Mach 1 Vuzix Z100s. Like I said, when I first put these on and started using them for Augment OS, I felt that the experience was way more polished and felt more intuitive, felt more natural to me, where the Metro Mach 1 Vuzix Z100s felt like I was using a gadget. Didn't feel like I was augmenting my life. It made me feel like I don't know, just didn't feel like I'm augmenting my own life. I apologize in this video if I didn't show much of the user experience because, one, it's hard to film, and frankly, there's not much to show because it's very how you use it. What I showed you in this video is what you're most likely going to see. I'm sorry I didn't show you much, but that dashboard that I showed you with the head tilting up is what you're mainly going to be seeing when you're using the operating system, until you use an app that does otherwise. I've mentioned to the team I'd like to see more customization and more animations in the software. This is a cool piece of technology, and you have the ability with your operating system to make it feel unique. Part of the goal I feel the team should have is make a reason for people to want to use your software versus OEM software. Right now, there's not too much of a difference to choose from. For example, for even realities, if you want navigations, as of now, Augment OS doesn't have that. Even Reality does, and even has a little mini map that shows you. Is it great? I don't know. I've never used Even Reality's thing because I strictly said I'd use Augment OS when I got these. And I've not used Even Reality's software since booting the device because you have to use it for a little bit before you can switch. The same goes with Vuzix Connect's app for the Metro Mach 1s. They have navigation. Augment OS doesn't as of now. That could be subject to change because it is open source, and if somebody really wants to make an app for folks to use, it's all there. They even have an SDK and resources to help you learn the code on how to do that. What I mean by animations is when you use the Vuzix Z100 / Metro Mach 1s, notifications kind of come up like a little window. To me, it feels like the kind of Xbox pop-up logo. I'd love to see that kind of be re-implemented. And I understand it's kind of a bit hard to animate stuff via code and whatnot. And I understand that with you only having green and limited frame rates, it's kind of hard to make the animations look smooth. But I feel having that feature, or at least be a toggleable feature that have more animations, would help feel the experience more unique and different compared to other ones. Customization, I've mentioned in the feedback reform, or at least I believe I did. I'd like to see what you you choose to have displayed in your dashboard. That'd just be nice, make it feel more unique and different. Another thing that I'd love to see, and this is kind of open to anybody, not specifically Metro, but I'd love to see like a person, a little face to make it feel like I have my own like computer assistant with me when I ask Mira something. Right now it's all just text, but if there's like a little face or a little image, say like, hey, I'm like your little virtual assistant, it'd make it feel more personal and kind of cool. I understand that it's got to be practical too. Like I said, make everything a toggle. If somebody doesn't like it, toggle it off. Might be a little bit overbearing for some users, but at the end of the day, make the experience your experience and allow the users to have their own unique experience. I want to be able to take off my glasses, give it to somebody, and say, look how I'm running this operating system. Look how it's set up for me. Oh, that's cool. I want to adapt that. What settings did you toggle? I kind of want to see something like that. So at the end of the day, I think if you're a bit tight on money, get the Metro Mach 1s / V6 Z100s, because it's cheaper, and you're going to get an experience. Is it going to be super polished and super great? No, but I'm hoping with my feedback and the communities, they'll be able to polish it up more, so then it doesn't feel vastly different from when you pony up the extra money for even reality glasses. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. Sorry it's not as in-depth or in the thing. I've kind of moved from doing video reviews of software or stuff, and I'm kind of just transitioning to just writing them. It's a lot easier to express my opinions and viewpoints, and video filming these opinions and thoughts take a lot of time. And finding the time to do it. It's midnight, 17 minutes past the midnight. I'm filming this. I just don't have much time during the day to be able to film these or edit them, but I feel I'm obligated and kind of should give you guys at least something. So then it's not just the one unboxing video saying, Augment OS is here, and I don't show any of it besides just hyping it up. Thanks again. Please go to the Discord and read some of the feedback forums I posted in the general chat. You're going to get a lot more information on how my experience has been, and you're going to get a lot of other people's feedback, because one person's feedback is simply not enough. Each user is going to have a different experience, and each person's going to have different viewpoints on which direction this operating system will go. Like I said, I'd hope that the Metro team is focusing on making the operating system vastly different from the OEM and makes users want to use theirs versus them. As of now, with the current feature set and whatnot, you can choose either one. You're going to be missing out on a little bit of both. But because of it being open source and people can make apps, I'm hoping that can help raise Augment OS. But the team also needs to push for it too. So thank you guys.